Worst to best, the greatest movies by Grace Kelly ranked. Grace Kelly is undoubtedly one of the best actresses Hollywood has ever seen. She's done so many films and has given us a pool of the greatest films in Hollywood. So today we're going to rank the selected pool of films from best to worst. Watch the whole video to get some really noteworthy recommendations. Firstly, how can we forget Mogambo? Again, this film might have worked in its time, but now it's not that great of a watch. The age difference between the co-actors makes it a sour watch. Then there's the whole concept of the great white hunter that finds its roots in racism and colonialism. This was normal back then, but now this will be trashed to a different level. Another problem personal to Grace Kelly was that she was written in as a character insignificant to that of Ava Gardner. The film revolves around a famous hunter in Kenya who's simultaneously juggling two women together. The film tries to show this as innocent and appropriate to the circumstances as much as possible, but in our opinion, it still fails. One is the hot-headed honey bear, while the other is completely cool and stoic Linda, who's married. It makes the plot worse. Owing to this, there's no suspense on whom he ends up with. Now onto Kelly's performance. She's done a remarkable job, a role like this would allow. She'd done an excellent portrayal of the character, as if it was not how it's written. Our favorite part was when she shoots him. 10 seconds later, we moan about how just the fact that it was the arm and not the head. The film is racist to the core. You have the colored locals who are all said to be violent and dangerous. Apparently they hit the white men or those who come from civilization. They tend to forget how they are colonialized and will obviously do something to protest. The role of Kelly of how married women are fascinated with hunters is just downright sexist. This was one of the widest running ropes among all gossip magazines. The arc where Marswell seemingly gives up his love by bitching about Linda as her husband loves her make no sense. Why make a move when this was obvious from the beginning? The film gained Kelly her first Oscar nomination in the supporting actor category. At the same time, Ava got the nomination for Best Actress. The two were deserving of the nominations, but unfortunately the role did not deserve them. Now let's talk about High Society. This is a musical adaptation of the Philadelphia story, where Kelly plays her final lead role in any film. This is because she was engaged and married to the Prince of Monaco. In fact, she used her very own engagement ring for the film. In this, we see how Tracy is set to remarry while her ex-husband is doing his best to woo her back. Then the film takes a humorous turn when two reporters desperately want to infiltrate high society to record everything about the wedding. There's a love quadrangle between Tracy, her fiancé, her ex, and even Mike Connors, one of the reporters. The film is not bad. The quadrangle theme might have made it popular in the 50s, but now it seems so overused and a headache to watch three people going after the same person and fighting for their affection. At the same time, they will choose someone who's completely unworthy of it. Another problem was the age gap between the two stars. Crosby, who plays Dexter, is the ex-husband in the film, who is 30 years older than Kelly. He feels like an over-friendly and whimsical uncle who does not know his limits rather than a lover, to be honest. The ageism that this contrast throws in the face of the woke audience will also dampen their entertainment. On one side is Grace Kelly, practically retiring due to her marriage to royalty, and on the other is someone 30 years older than her who is still being considered a partner. Another thing is that they just don't go with each other. The age difference is evident, and no makeup can fix it. Kelly's performance in this film was undermined because she was against the ever-sensational Katharine Hepburn. Against her wit and skills, Kelly's performance paled a little, but she was still largely successful in bringing out the vulnerability in Tracy's character. Next up is High Noon. This is one of the most un-American movies we've ever seen, and for some, it's one of the greatest movies ever made. This is a Western movie made in 1952, and we have Marshall, Will Kane, and his idealist wife, Amy. At the beginning of the film, Kane is set to retire from his post and leave the town of Hadleyville. Soon after, he receives the news that Frank Miller, a criminal that he'd helped to capture, will be arriving via the noon train, and that his whole gang will be waiting for him. The film was made in the blacklisted area, yet it was still very political, especially with Grace Kelly's character, Amy. The film shows how cowardly a community can be when Kane tries to collect a posse from defeating Miller once and for all. Nobody in the town, including his friends, wants to give him a hand. Finally, as the clock's ticking, he decides to fight the whole gang alone. On the other hand, Amy wants nothing to do with violence in the town. She couldn't hurry anymore to leave once and for all. All this changes after she receives a phone call from Kane's ex-lover. We see character development right here, and now she's convinced to fight for her husband. Kelly did a great job throughout the film and was the projector of the quiet strength. We see how her character acts of bravery save her husband's life as they walk into the sunset. The film is all about the race against time and builds suspense until the ultimate action follows in any Western film. Finally, we have the best film out of them all, Rear Window. In Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window, L.B. Jeffries talks about his glamorous girlfriend and how she was too perfect, talented, beautiful, and sophisticated. He's a globe-trotting photographer who's always locked up in his apartment, and he has a broken leg. He keeps his girlfriend Lisa away, which is really daunting, as he believes that they're completely incompatible due to their different lifestyles. This isn't really the theme of the movie though. Jeff soon discovers that he might have witnessed a murder from his rear window. This all blends into Yoerism and a question of whether there's really something wrong with his neighbors or if he's just a peeping Tom. The whole film is just plain marvelous and way ahead of its time. This is quoted to be Hitchcock's best film of all time, and Grace Kelly certainly gave a powerful performance. We see her actively collecting clues on what was really happening in the apartment in the next building. So, these are the greatest movies by Grace Kelly, ranked from worst to best. What do you think of these movies? Let us know your views in the comment section below. Until the next video, stay tuned and subscribe to our channel for more uploads like this. See you soon.